Is your CRM a bridge to your global customers, or is it a barrier? It is a question that many operations leaders ask themselves as they scale. When you first start, a single portal in one language feels efficient. But as you grow, the standard model often begins to break. It buckles under the weight of different time zones, varying currencies, and the nuances of language. If you have ever seen a sales report where the total revenue is a confusing mix of euros and dollars, or if a lead in Tokyo received a good morning email at midnight, you have felt this friction. The solution is not just better software, it's Global RevOps. This is the strategic alignment of sales, marketing, and customer success across geographical and cultural boundaries. It ensures that your revenue engine runs smoothly, no matter where your team or your customers are located. In this guide, we will explore how to manage the complexity of international setups and why a multi-language CRM is the cornerstone of global growth. The complexity of the borderless business. The dream of a borderless business is exciting, but the reality is often a logistical puzzle. Many companies fall into the trap of the centralized versus decentralized tug of war. Centralized teams want a single source of truth and uniform data. Local teams, however, need the autonomy to speak to their specific markets. How do you find the balance? You start by acknowledging that a translated CRM is not the same as a localized revenue operations engine. Statistics show that 72% of consumers spend most or all of their time on websites in their own language. If your internal operations do not support this external experience, your conversion rates will inevitably suffer. Your RevOps strategy must be built to support a global journey from the very first touch point. What exactly is Global RevOps? In a domestic setting, RevOps is about breaking down silos between departments. In a global setting, Global RevOps is about breaking down silos between regions. It is a consideration stage realization for many leaders. You cannot simply copy and paste your domestic strategy into a new market and expect it to work. There are three main pillars to a successful global reach. Technical infrastructure. This involves managing your multilingual CRM and portal structure so users can work in their native language while data remains unified. Process standardization. This ensures that a qualified lead in London meets the same criteria as one in New York. Without this, your global reporting becomes meaningless. Data integrity. This covers the unsexy but vital parts of business. Regional privacy laws like GDPR or CCPA, and managing real-time currency fluctuations. Consider a SaaS company that uses a single portal. If the North American team tracks leads based on demo requests, but the European squad tracks them based on white paper downloads, your global dashboard is essentially lying to you. Global RevOps fixes this by creating a universal language for your data. Navigating technical hurdles, time, money, and logic. When you manage multi-region portals, the small details become the biggest headaches. Let's look at the three most common hurdles: time zones, currencies, and technical logic. Time zone synchronization automation is the heart of RevOps, but it can be a global enemy if not timed correctly. If a prospect in Berlin downloads an ebook at 10 a.m. their time, and your immediate follow-up is hard-coded to Eastern Standard Time, EST, that email might arrive at an unprofessional hour. A global setup requires local time logic in every workflow. Currency management. You cannot have a global forecast if your total revenue field is a messy pile of unconverted exchange rates. A robust multi-language CRM should handle multi-currency support by default. This allows a salesperson in Paris to enter a deal in euros, while the CFO in Chicago sees the aggregated value in USD based on the current exchange rate. It sounds simple, but many companies fail to automate this, resulting in hours of manual spreadsheet work each month. Portal architecture. One of the biggest questions we hear is, should we have one global portal or multiple regional portals? Single portal. This offers a trustworthy single source of truth. It makes global reporting easy. However, it requires strict partitioning to ensure teams only see what they need to see. Multi-portal. This gives regional teams total autonomy. It is often easier for local marketing. However, it makes executive-level reporting a nightmare, as data must be manually aggregated from various sources. For most growing companies, a single portal with strong partitioning and smart content features is the path to true scalability. The multi-language CRM, more than just words. Many people think a multi-language CRM just means the buttons say enregistre instead of save. That is only the surface. True localization is about the user experience for both your employees and your customers. Why does this matter so much? Because translation without localization often leads to failure. Research shows that websites with localized content have a 1.5x higher conversion rate than those that do not. This principle applies to your CRM forms and landing pages too. The invisible elements of localization. When setting up your portal, you must consider the invisible data points. Date formats. Is 05/04/2024 May 4th or April 5th? If your system gets this wrong, your sales follow-ups will be scheduled for the wrong day. Form fields. Addressing structures vary wildly. Some countries don't use states. Some have different naming conventions. A rigid US-centric form will frustrate a global user and lead to lower conversion rates. User adoption. If your regional sales reps find the CRM hard to navigate because it's in a foreign language or uses foreign logic, they won't use it. And as every RevOps leader knows, if it isn't in the CRM, it didn't happen. Coordinating a global content strategy. Your RevOps team is the engine, but content is the fuel. In a global environment, coordinating this fuel is a massive undertaking. You need a roadmap that aligns marketing assets across every region. This is where smart rules come into play. A sophisticated multilingual CRM can automatically route leads based on browser language or IP country. This ensures that a Spanish-speaking lead is immediately sent to a Spanish-speaking rep and enrolled in a Spanish-language nurture sequence. Data-driven engagement is the goal. By using localized analytics, you can see which regions are lagging. Is your bounce rate higher in Germany? Perhaps the translation is too formal, or the page load time is too slow in that region. You can't fix what you can't see, and a global RevOps setup provides that visibility. Remember the 56.2% rule. Over half of consumers say the ability to obtain information in their own language is more important than price. If you aren't localizing, you aren't just losing leads, you are losing your pricing power. Best practices for global implementation. So how do you actually build this? You cannot do everything at once. We recommend a phased approach based on these best practices. 1. Establish a global core. Define 80% of your processes that should stay the same everywhere. This includes your core lifecycle stages, your primary data properties, and your high-level reporting metrics. The remaining 20% should be reserved for local flexibility, things like specific regional marketing campaigns or local legal requirements. 2. Define governance models. Who owns the portal? Who has the permission to change a global property? In a multi-region setup, a quick change by a marketer in New York could accidentally break a workflow for a team in Singapore. You need a clear governance structure to manage these changes. 3. Prioritize human oversight. AI and machine translation are incredible tools for speed, but they are not total solutions. They can miss cultural context or industry-specific jargon. Always ensure a native speaker reviews your core localized workflows. 4. Bridge the technical and cultural gap. Success in global RevOps requires a blend of technical expertise and cultural empathy. This is why many companies look for specialized support, such as multilingual HubSpot user group expertise. This approach ensures that your portal isn't just technically sound, but culturally relevant to every user who enters it. Why localization wins every time. Think about the last time you used a website that felt off. Maybe the currency was wrong, or the phrasing felt like a bad robot translation. Did you trust that brand? Probably not. Trust is the foundation of any B2B relationship, especially in the consideration stage. When you invest in global RevOps, you are investing in trust. You are telling your customers in France, Brazil, or Japan that you value their experience enough to speak their language, both literally and figuratively. You are also telling your internal teams that you want to remove the friction that prevents them from hitting their targets. Managing multi-language and multi-region portals is undeniably complex. It requires a deep understanding of software logic, data architecture, and international marketing. But the reward is a truly scalable business that can enter new markets with confidence rather than chaos. Scaling without the friction. Global RevOps is not just a project, it is a mindset. It is the realization that to grow globally, you must act locally. It is about creating a seamless experience where the complexity of the back end is invisible to the user on the front end. When your systems are aligned, your data is clean, and your content is localized, you gain a massive competitive edge. You stop being a foreign company trying to sell into a market and start being a global partner that understands the local landscape. At Aspiration Marketing, we live and breathe this complexity every day. We know that setting up a multi-language CRM is about more than just checking a box. It is about building a sustainable engine for growth. As experts in multilingual hug setups, we specialize in helping companies navigate the nuances of HubSpot and other platforms to create high-performing global operations. Are you ready to see how your current portal measures up? Managing global regions doesn't have to be a source of friction. Whether you're struggling with data silos, translation errors, or reporting headaches, we can help you streamline your international presence. Would you like us to perform a global CRM health audit to identify opportunities to improve your multi-region setup?